What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the final episode of the Civilization 5 AI only world battle with the historic spawn dates mod. Going to be going over the results. Now normally if you've watched my AI only battles, I do the top 5 civs and I go over the info addicts, and for each, or not each one, the majority of them, some aren't as important, so I don't count those. But for if you come first, you get 5 points, second a civ would get 4 points for each info addict, and then eventually whoever's got the most points overall wins. With this campaign, because there wasn't so many clear, there was a lot more stronger nations. I did it the top 10, and then it was 10 points for first. So it's given a wider range of results. It's meant there's not an unlucky civ who keeps coming 6th and getting no points at all. But then in this campaign, there's about 10 good civs, and then after that it drops off. I'd say there's actually 9 from looking at these results. So and there's also been some changes to the world, which I'm going to go over after I've announced the results, because if I show you them they might spoil the results, because it's been a few turns, about 25 since the last video. And then if you wait a couple of weeks to give me some time to get there, I'm going to push it ahead to turn 500 just for fun, see what happens and see how that goes, maybe even further. But anyway, in 10th place we have the Celts. They are probably the Celts. They're here, I don't know how, they snuck in. There was the faith gain. Their huge religion came in, got them a lot of points. They've got fairly good military. They control all the cities in the British Isles. They've not done too badly. So 10th, Celts. No arguing with that. Now 8th and 9th is the only tie we had. Although if the Celts, if I'd have included the top 12, both Assyria and somebody else, I think Korea would have tied for sort of 11th, 12th. So honourable mention to those guys. But yes, a tie. 8th is Spain, who, as you'll now notice, took out both Orleans and Paris of France. So they are in 8th/9th, joint with the late game bloom that was the Songhai. They are at war with Carthage right now, but yeah, they're not going so well. They did grab this city from Carthage though, here in the south. So they're doing pretty well for themselves. Obviously they took out a lot of Morocco, which really helped for them. And again, same with Spain. Now they've taken out France, they would definitely, when we go to turn 500, could definitely pose a threat to their big scary eastern border. Anyway, in 7th, someone who I thought was a little bit stronger than they turned out to be, Babylon. Pretty poor in the Middle East, still great war bombers and triplanes. They've really fallen behind in this late game. As you can see here, no modern bombing units, and just pretty much stuck. They're right in the middle of the map. They didn't have anywhere to expand, and that made it very difficult for them. They couldn't really go to war with anyone either, other than maybe a very difficult war against Ethiopia, which wouldn't have gone so well for them. But they started off well. They survived. Normally Babylon do not survive for some reason, but they did it, although they did have a huge advantage spawning first. So in 7th, Babylon. Into 6th we have a civ who lost their capital and still did very well in India. Now India, here you can see 4 atomic bombs. They're one of the few civs with nukes right now. They did settle this city here, as did Persia, which really helped fill up the gap in the map. And India did well. I mean, they have this 37 and 38 population city, which is huge. They have the former Hunnic capital here, 25 population, and this city 22. To lose their capital and come 6th, missing out by 1 spot on the top 5 is awesome. Well done, India. They are also in a war currently with the Russians, which hasn't gone too well for them as far as I can remember. Now, into 5th, we have their eastern neighbour of the Indians, the Chinese. Took out the Mongolians early, and that was all they had to do. They did nothing else. They do also have 3, I think they have 3 nukes there, maybe 4. So yeah, about the same amount of nukes, about 4, the same as the Indians. But China, they were interlinked with Mongolia at the start of the campaign, but they took them out, and since then, I mean, other than settling this city up here, they've not done too much. But they've done enough. They've got a big capital, some big cities sort of spread around here. And well done to China. They've come 5th. Anyway, into 4th. This is the biggest surprise, and a civ that you're going to think how... I would have thought this civ would have come below Babylon, and maybe sort of tied with Spain and Songhai, but they did surprisingly well, and that is the Mayans. They came 4th, ahead of China and India, which is insane. So credit to you, Mayans. Mainly, the Mayans, they weren't top of any of the info addicts, but they were never 10th or 9th. There were some civs like China and India in particular, those sort of civs, Babylon, where they'd come top 3 somewhere, and then they just drop 8th, 9th, 10th, and get barely any points. The Mayans were consistently 5th, 6th, 4th, whatever, just picking up good average amounts of points, and credit to them, they've done really well to still be alive, and especially with this huge Aztec nation. I don't know what the Aztecs are doing, but anyway, they've taken out most of South America where they could. Good job, Mayans. 4th place, ultimate surprise, but now we come to the big top 3. Now, if you don't know who's in this top 3, or you can't predict it, you probably haven't been watching this campaign, or I don't know what's going on. But in 3rd, they just couldn't. They were about 10 points behind these 2 other dominant civs. They very late game began to show their power, and that is the Romans. Very, very good late game. Obviously, their huge amount of cities in Africa becoming very helpful late on, especially resource-wise. They obviously had this island here. Very strong military. In the end, they did grab both Danish cities here. The larger Danish city. They have one. They are another one of the nuclear nations. Only 2 atomic bombs for Rome, I believe. They don't have too many as far as some of the nations go. But Rome, very well. Very large military. 3rd in the world in tech and 2nd in science progression. Doing well in Europe is such a difficult task when there's no mods and I haven't balanced it more. So credit to Rome, they've done really well. I've never seen a civ in one of my games do as well as this in terms of colonizing, I guess you could say, of Africa. That was insane. And now on to 2nd. The biggest surprise of all is that the Aztecs were not number 1. They're number 2. By 2 points, the Aztecs missed out, which is insane. Late game, they did take out America. They do have a lot of nukes. I'm not exactly sure how many. Hey, look at this English settler. I don't know where he's going, but anyway. They have a lot of nukes. There's too many for me to find, but they did take out America late game. There's at least 6 just there. So, obviously, they dominated all the way through Mexico towards Central America. Off here, off the Yucatan Peninsula, into... they have all of Cuba. Is this the Dominican Republic? One of them. And Haiti. Is that correct, I think? Or maybe this is, and I've got that wrong. But yeah, pretty good for the Aztecs. Fully controlling the sort of the Southwest Pacific. In terms of all these islands, Australia, so there's all the Ethiopia now here, which I didn't notice, but well done, good job Ethiopia, and of course Rio, which is in the wrong place. But the Aztecs very well, largest military in the world, yes. Didn't have much opposition, I guess, in North America, which is always the case, so I'm kind of glad they didn't win, and the winner goes to Persia. Persia, 2 points ahead. It surprised me. I was counting up the tallies that I wrote out from doing it, and I checked 3 times because I was sure that Aztecs should have won because they were on top for so long, but towards the end they dropped off, and Persia just did really, really well. And first up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 atomic bombs, Persia. That is insane. Persia got 11. None were used. Persia did not do anything in the late game other than settle this city here to secure their victory. But they took out the Indian capital. They took out Arabia. They gave us a really interesting campaign. Seeing someone this strong sort of form in the India, Middle East, all the way up here towards what is modern day southern China almost. It's been awesome to see them play well as they have. So now to go over what's gone on in the world recently. So if you remember from the last video, congratulations to Persia. I don't think anyone predicted anyone in the top 10. Sorry if I forgot, but I'm pretty sure there was only 2 predictions. That was England and Greece. If I've missed someone, I would have already let that put in the comments to apologise for that. But Copenhagen took ages to fall. Rome and Russia were fighting Denmark for Copenhagen. So it's a very complicated. And these cities here, as you'll see, Lyon, Berlin. Okay, no. Berlin was Swedish, Lyon and Copenhagen. Lyon was French, Copenhagen was Danish. So Rome and Russia kept trying and somehow kept failing to take Copenhagen. And then the French, who had Lyon here, took Copenhagen. And then, within one turn, the Swedish, who were at war with the French, took Copenhagen, which was insanely good move by the Swedish. And then they used that to move on and take Lyon. So a late game push from Sweden, which was awesome to see, which ruined Rome and Russia's chances. Russia, however, took Adrianople in a war against Assyria, and are now defending a big war against the Indians. I think Russia will be okay. I think if I was to do the Info Addicts again at turn 500, I think Russia would be probably sneaking into where Spain and the Songhai are above the Celts. However, it does look like they should defend against India. I don't think they have any nukes, so I'd point that out. But India did declare this war, should point out. But yeah, Russia have grabbed Adrianople. They did lose Vienna and then take it back. But yeah, Russia are doing okay now against Assyria. What else developed in the world? I'm pretty sure you guys saw Constantinople fall to Rome. Yeah, that was quite a while ago. Obviously, like I said, Paris and Orleans, eventually the Celts kept faffing around. Spain got the job done, and probably if they'd have been given more time again at turn 500, I think they won't be tying with the Songhai. They'll probably pull ahead. Big thing happened here. Portugal were taken out by the Zulu. Very surprising. The Zulus came up here, took them out. Like I said, America got taken out. The Iroquois are still alive and actually managed to get a point, which was very surprising. I did not expect them to get any points. Zulu settled this city. Ethiopia settled over here. You may have seen that before. I can't exactly remember exactly all the huge changes. Nothing too big has changed. Like I said, the Songhai grabbed Gades here. That sounds like they've caught a disease that's not good. Anyway, did anything else happen? I don't think anything else happened. There's probably a few more Aztec cities here than before. Ethiopia here, but in terms of cities falling in war, nothing too much else happening. But that, guys, is going to be it for this campaign. Like I said, look out in about 2 weeks' time for a video. I will have pushed the campaign to turn 500. We can see what it looks like. And if you like that, I'm also tempted to go back to the old AI only campaign and push that another 50 turns. That will be really hard because I think I don't know actually, I think we went to 450. But I would have to find all the mods again and get them all to work again, which may cause problems. Or if you like seeing this just push to 500, I could keep pushing it maybe every 2 weeks and just something different. Because obviously from this point on, it's just going to be the Kongo campaign. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.